What is up, guys? Liam here. Been a while since I've done a video. Life's been in the way, of course, but I'm finally back with another gun video. Today I bring a German rifle. I have the HK G3. So this is my model, the HK G3. So you can see I've spent a while working on this. It's quite a large model too. But I will get into the details, since this is probably my finest HK weapon so far. First we have the barrel, which is square. I could have done a round barrel, but I would have lost out on the functionality of the exposed rubber band there, which I had to make exposed just to get the mechanism of the bolt to work. You can also see I used a tire for the front iron sight, which is actually viewable, that you can see. Hard to get an angle here on my camera, but you can see there's a little dot there, which holds the tire in place and also kind of works as a reticle. However, the rear iron sight does not work. I had an older version that worked, but this version looks a bit more accurate to what the real one looks like. As you can see, kind of represents the rotating sight there. Unfortunately though, these holes do not go all the way through, so you cannot actually use that iron sight. However, I still do like the look of it, so I just kept it like that. Moving on, we have the studded grip. I'll get to the bolt in a second, but you can see there's a bullet exposed there just due to how I built this thing. The main body is smoothed out. Here's the fire selector. Right now I have it on safety, but we can, if we're careful, switch it to semi-automatic and full auto, which is a very flimsy setup. This just comes off. It's on a low plate like that, or a rounded tile. I also have a trigger, which does have functionality. I was going to use the same rubber band that I used on my HK USP that I showed off of, God, that was probably like a year ago at this point. But that one, when I put it on here, immediately snapped, so that one's now out of service. I also did manage to get a magazine release system here. As you can see, this is the magazine for my G3 that just slots in, and while this doesn't have any tension on it or anything, this is fully hand operated. It was the best I could get with the parts I had available. Although I do have a spring part, it was just too large to fit in to get any other thing to work. So I just decided, hey, you know what, why not? All right, at least I'll get one in there. We also have the entirely black stock, which is a little flimsy. As you can see, I tried to stabilize it, but then it ended up tearing the whole gun in half, so would not recommend that. But it is a solid stock, very sturdy. You can also see here the bottom is not that smooth, but I did manage to smooth out the sides by using some wing pieces here. Also, these pieces use some illegal building techniques, I'd call them. I think they're illegal, pretty sure, because I just put pins in here that have the stud on one end, and these just slot in like so, and while there's a little bit of a gap, it does give a decent look to it to make it look like it slopes upwards. If we were to go and look on the other side, you will be able to see that there's no fire selector here. There's a bit less detail, however, what is important is that we have a little bolt here, or the little shell eject port, which doing this one hand is a bit odd, so let me prop the camera up. If I were to rack the bolt back, which is very hard to do at this angle, you can see there is, in fact, a bullet inside there, and we can lock the slide up. But yes, there is a little round in there. It doesn't eject, and you can see that that actual, the little piece that looks like it comes from the magazine is not actually from the magazine at all. There's also another problem occurring right now. The pistol grip really likes to break itself apart. So I will fix that real quick on camera here. This is the issue with this model, is that it's very flimsy, but this pistol grip, due to the fact it's under constant tension, does end up breaking easily. But you'll see that this gun, while fragile, still does look a bit neat. So we can also slide that forward. The rubber band is not under too much tension. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Today, I guess it's just not having a good enough day, but figured I'd at least get a video out here. But I will show you guys the bolt finally. If we can prop the camera up a little bit more, you guys should see that the bolt does go back. We have a little latch there to lock it up. Well, I can't fully HK slap it, and I do have to fix it every few times because of the flimsy Lego pieces. It does actually work like an HK bolt would on something like an MP5. Of course, this is a G3, which is pretty much a rifle caliber MP5. But yeah, I think that looks good. However, we're not done because I've decided once again to go out with the attachments. I'll show off the basic ones first, and I'll move on to the best at the end. Here is the flashlight, based on, you know, my time playing Left 4 Dead. It can stick on to anywhere on the grip, and it doesn't look particularly good. It's very flimsy. As you can see, it can rotate. I was out of pieces, so I had to do this weird design here on the front for the light. You can see there's a little knob here that you have to press down if you want it to stop spinning as much, but it lasts about 2 seconds. After the flashlight, we also have this scope, which is way too tiny, but I figured I'd show it off because you can look down it. It's very flat. You also had these, which worked with my old design of iron sights, but don't work anymore. They would work if I still had them, but, you know, I don't. I'm not even going to put it on because the scope does not look good. We also have something I am actually kind of proud of. This is my bayonet, which is made with a lot of illegal building techniques, but it does look kind of decent. We have the sheath here, which is incredibly flimsy because it is made out of one type of part, which is these 1x2 round plates that I picked up in Florida a few years back. And it does sheath up nicely. However, the blade is very fragile. But with this lug here, we can actually fit it onto the front of the barrel. And it does kind of hang off. It works better when it's fully upright, but of course I can't do that while trying to move the camera around. I'm not particularly proud of how flimsy it is, but I am proud of how it kind of looks like a real bayonet. And lastly, we have my favorite module, which comes in 2 pieces. We got the first piece here, which is the trigger, and the second piece here, which is the actual launcher, because I've made an underbarrel grenade launcher. Not modeled off of any particular one, but it was modeled off of several grenade launcher types that I had seen be used on things like the G3. So this one uses a swivel technique instead of a slide open technique like an M203. This one that I have made here swings open from below. However, getting this together is very difficult. So I will see if I can get this together by lifting it up, and I'll have to do that off camera just due to how flimsy this can be. Since it comes in 2 parts with how limited my part selection was after building the initial model of the G3, I had to come up with some clever techniques here to make it work. But as you can see, it's got a nice round shape to it. We've got a little latch here. The trigger guard doesn't have a trigger inside of it, unfortunately, because I was out of parts to do that with. But we do have this mechanism here, which does allow you to swing this open. It does have a decent swing distance, but I wouldn't swing it too fast just due to how flimsy Lego can be. But if we do swing that up a bit, let me see if I can grab the other piece for this while trying not to break anything. We do have a 40mm grenade here. I was out of round pieces, as you can tell by the tiny tubes. I was out of the 4x4 round pieces. So if we swing this open, this does actually end up slotting in. And now that we have the grenade in there, as you can see, we can now put that there. And of course, we have the trigger to use, which I cannot use at the angle I'm at right now, but I can hold the rifle at least. So you can see that got the trigger here, and then I would have to awkwardly move my finger to this trigger to fire the grenade launcher. Once it's out, you swivel it open. Now this is entirely held in by tension. We can easily get the grenade out. But yeah, as makeshift as this all is, I am very proud of how this came out. Spent a while on this. I'm sorry for not uploading in a while. Life's been in the way, of course, but decided, hey, maybe mental health is a bit more important than everything else. So yeah, I'll show you real quick. The inside of the grenade launcher is almost entirely hollow. You can see it uses modified plates, as they're called. I don't get why they're called that. I guess because Lego modified them, but I never liked that name. You can see here these plates cover up the corners here. However, they do not allow the round shape of the grenade to fit through. As you can see, if I were to put it in this end, these plates will stop it. However, on the other end, you can see these corners are cut out here. I literally cut corners, and that allows me to fit the grenade in all the way. And I cut just enough that I needed, so that way it doesn't sit too far in and allows the slope to work with the rest of this place. However, you know, it still is flimsy. Of course, you can see it kind of tapers in a little bit. Not perfect. Of course, here's the pieces that allow it to hit the latch, which the latch is very basic. It's literally just this mechanism here. This is all the functionality it has. And this is the functionality of the actual hinge piece, which kind of looks like an iron sight of sorts for a grenade launcher. I suppose maybe at some point I could make a handheld grenade launcher rather than an underbarreled one, if any of you guys would like to see that. But that's pretty much all I have for this video. I don't have any other attachments. I can get an overview of my current attachments and pieces for it, as I've done some previous videos with my weapons. So I will stick all of these onto the table. And while there's not as much as some of my other weapons, should at least be a neat display. So as you can see here, these are all the weapons, or all the attachments for the weapon. You got the flashlight, the scope, grenade launcher trigger guard, the grenade launcher itself, 40mm grenade, the bayonet sheath, and the rifle itself, of course, and I can even take out the magazine for this. So yeah, that's all I built for this rifle. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you guys another time. Maybe not soon, but sometime. Peace.